I like the fact that he's moved away from social media. If he realises it's not good for his well-being or his mental health, then fair play to him. But I think there's a bigger issue here to talk about. Can we stop letting other people determine our happiness? Like, honestly, as a footballer, you don't play well, you're going to get stick. It's part and parcel. But when you do play well, I don't hear people saying, no, stop telling me I'm great. Do you know what I mean? We've got rough with the smooth. It comes with it. And, the boys were saying out there, you get stick, Troy. And I said, I get stick when I play well. It doesn't matter. I'm just... Yeah. It is what it is. You can't be as opinionated, in my opinion, as I am, and not expect stick. Ali's a lovable guy. I bet he still gets stick by certain people. Do you know what I mean, mate? It's just when players are winning or scoring or doing well, it's let me post a picture, let me post that goal I scored, tell me how great I am. When they don't, they go missing. They don't post as much, or they give the generic. Gutted that we lost today. Fans were brilliant. Try again next week. Come on, take a bit of it. Honestly, it's not the be all and end all. And if it does affect you, come off it. I promise you, your world still spins without social media. I promise you.
Is there more of a problem though with the level of abuse that some players can get?
Of course. But that's part of the fight that you have now with the Premier League and the EFL and the FA. With social media platforms. But that's a problem in society. But what I'm talking about is solely football here. If you're doing well, everyone posts. You can see it. Go on any footballer you want. When they're doing well, they're showing you their goals, they're showing you their training, they're showing you everything. The second they're not doing well, they slow down. Why is that then? So you want me tell me I'm great when I'm doing great, but when I'm not doing great, don't tell me I'm not doing great.
But in a way, I mean, isn't that part of your job as well? Like, part of your job as entertainers now kind of seeps into the world of social media, where the fan base want to see you post,
Of course.
They want to get involved, And
I think that the key line is to understand what the abuse is. If it starts going racial and things of that nature and talking about, I've had it where people talk about my kids. Like, they don't play football.
So you don't have to put up with that, though, do you?
No, you don't. But I'm saying, what I'm saying, it's a choice. It's a choice to have comments on your thing. You could turn them off if you want to. It's a choice to engage in it. But what I'm saying is, if the point I'm talking about is when things are good, you can't be comments on for that picture. When comments are bad, take it off, because that's what people do. So, do you know what I mean? You have to be consistent with it and know that...
Is that not a bit of self-preservation, though? Is that not a kind of, like, for example, if I know I've had a good show, I might feel more confident about going on social media, but if I know I've had an absolute stinker, I probably won't touch it for a few days. And is that not just protecting yourself rather than kind of... Of
course, but what I'm saying is that you can't call out that person that has consistently tweeted you, good show, Laura, you did well, or you've had a bad show, Laura, you should have got that right. You can't then take that off. That's what I'm saying. You have to take the rough with the smooth, because you're going to get it in the press as well. They're not always going to say, Alan McCoy's was great, he scored a hat-trick this week. Alan missed a penalty, they lost 1-0. Yep. You have to take it.
Take it off with the smooth.
Of course, and that's kind of where I was going with it. There is a very thin line in that, and the thing is, with offence, it's all about how you feel. You could be offended for something that is said to me that I don't find offensive. So with offence, it is a very difficult balance to have. So, it's tough. And I think when players try and use their social media for personal gain, i.e. monies and things.
Promoting something.
Yeah, of course. Do you not expect people to be jealous and envious of that?
But is that almost like saying, don't buy a nice watch in case it gets nicked? Don't have a nice house in case it gets burgled?
But that's like buying a nice house. It comes with a risk.
But then that doesn't mean that's your fault for buying.
No,
a nice
100% not. 100% not. But what I'm saying is, if you bought a nice motor and it got nicked, there's a chance that was going to happen. Yeah. It's not your fault. That somebody acted in a way, and then you hope the police do that. That's what I said to the earlier point. If somebody gives us grief, you report it, and you hope social media or the police or the Premier League have things in place that can prosecute people. If they can't, and you can't change that, what do you do?
I think the bigger conversation isn't necessarily I get what you're saying, rough with the smooth, because you're in the job where your performances are judged, and you know what, if they're not up to scratch, you'll get dropped, that sort of thing. But I do think that in this instance with Anwar, I think we're talking about a level of abuse that is unacceptable.
I agree, but I do agree in this certain instance. But I was just talking in a bigger picture. You turn around and say, for example, he was getting racial abuse or things of that nature. Absolutely, it's disgusting. No human deserves that. Never mind a footballer. But what I'm saying to you is, to come out and say, I hope you're now apologising and saying all the great things. We don't say that when things are great and you've been winning, or when Villa won 7-2 against Liverpool, and everyone was talking how great Villa are. No one was going, scale it back. Don't give them too much adulation. When you used to get hammered before social media was really everywhere, somebody literally had to say, I don't like you, Laura. Do you know what I mean? Like, this close. And it never happened. It was always a conversation of, but missed that chance. Should have done better, shouldn't you, Laura?
Yeah.
And, you have that conversation. Whereas now, because it's behind the screen, people are braver. People say things they would never say in face-to-face. Yeah. And I've said this all the time, Ali. I've had thousands of people give me stick. Millions even. Yet, after any game, anywhere in the world, for someone to come up and go, hi, I'm such and such off Twitter. Remember when I said that to you? I meant it.
That's never happened, though.
Never happened. I've been on I get the train from here. See people in the train station, see people everywhere. People might go, I don't like what you said about Arsenal. And then you talk about it, but they're never going to go, right, when I see him, I'm going to bash him up. It's an opinion thing. This is what we do. And the thing is, some people are not educated enough to know how to express or articulate their opinion in a better way. But this is why we've got a show, and this is why, influencers, as they're called, have such an opinion, because they talk about things and people listen to it now. And everyone is different. And that is the gift and the curse with mental health, I suppose. You can, as I say, offence and it can all be very different. But I just think when it comes to it, each to their own. I just think we can't call out supporters when they're negative if it's solely about football. If they're negative and it's racist and discriminative and all of that, then 100%. But if it's just about football, we can't call them out on that, but then expect the same adulation when you do well. That's the point I was trying to make.